What is going on, everyone? And this is Stingers Up. That is right. We had a week off, and now we're back on to the grind here. Boy, there's a lot to talk about. Sanger West football from Friday, as I'm recording this on a Tuesday. They ended up playing Roosevelt at Sunnyside Stadium. And, well, before we get into that, there's also going to be boys basketball talk. We are in the fall league games, and we kind of had a preview of what is to come for the season. And the reason I say that is the boys ended up playing Fowler, and also they played Justin Garza, who just got added to our league, to our conference. And so it's kind of a preview of what to come. So really, really excited about everything that happened this week. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the Sanger West football team. So Sanger West football team, it wasn't pretty. Unfortunately, not much I can say about this win, or about this loss. They ended up losing 55-0 to Roosevelt. Roosevelt is a very talented football team. This is one of many reasons why Sanger West is basically being pulled from this league. I'm actually kind of surprised that they ended up having. Well, what happened is the league that they're moving to, they didn't get a deal done until after they had already set up the football schedules and all that jazz. So unfortunately, Sanger West this year is kind of getting the brunt end of it. We have no business playing teams like this. It's sad because, these are kids, and unfortunately, kids are very impressionable. And this is what could happen, and this is what I was nervous about, of course. And unfortunately, it is what it is. So we'll have to figure out what happens coming up. But I just wanted to first shout out one of a player that I know very closely, because I actually work with his mom at Sanger West, but just wanted to shout him out. Jesus Andrade, he ended up getting his very first start at linebacker. Unfortunately, was due to an injury. TK Cha ended up getting hurt, which was really unfortunate. I've actually been talking to TK. He seems to be upbeat about it. He seems like it's probably just a sprain and will be out for, a couple, maybe 3 weeks. But is expected back, but we shall see. But in the meantime, Jesus came in and excuse me. Jesus came in and filled the position that is not easy to fill. And, big shout out to Maxwell Willie, who also had to help out. Raul ended up having an okay day as well. So a lot of guys ended up filling up the spot, which was really, really good. And I'm proud of them. And could not be more proud of Jesus Andrade. Finally getting his chance, and he's struggled with injuries and all that, and so now he gets to play, which I know he's very excited. So I just wanted to shout him out because if I didn't, his mom would kill me. So anyway, but let's talk about the football team. So this one was a tough one because even the offense and the defense were struggling. And I've been on here for multiple weeks now saying, listen, Sanger West defense is actually doing pretty good. And in this game, it unfortunately did not look great. From the start, from the first snap, you can just see the tone being set by Roosevelt, which is unfortunate because I do think Sanger West is a good team. I don't believe that they're what the record says they are, but they really have a very tough schedule, and it's hard to overcome some of the stuff, and one of the things is it's not easy getting your first loss. I mean, it's not hard getting your first loss, but it is very extremely hard to get that first win, to get that chip off your shoulder. It is extremely hard to overcome that. And, these boys have worked very hard, and they have really tried to get that first win. And it's not quite there yet, but I do see it coming soon. And I do think, this next week, who they're going to be playing Hoover, I do think is a possibility where they could actually be in this game and possibly win this game. So if you aren't already planning on coming out, I encourage you to come on out. It is going to be an elementary night, and elementary night is going to be extremely fun. Because I love this thing that high schools do, is where they bring in the feeder schools, and those feeder schools play like a mini game during halftime. And I just love it. I think it's always so cool. You can always kind of see some of the players who you're like, okay, this kid might be something, So it's really fun. So I encourage you guys to come out. It'll be at Tom Flores Stadium. JV starts at at 5, and varsity starts at 7:30. So yeah, man, it just, unfortunately, it wasn't what the Hornets were wanting, and obviously not what I was wanting as well, and it is a bummer here, but they did get a lot of injuries. I mean, I know Jordan Cardenas, who's a really good tackler, really good safety for us. He's got some good speed. He's hurt right now. Aaron Cox Jr., he ended up getting hurt, which is not great. Like I said, TK Cha, he's also hurt. So a lot of injuries. I mean, there's more that I can't even think of right now. And there's just a lot of injuries that are accumulating, and it's a little unfortunate because, these kids, I do feel like are getting closer and closer, but unfortunately, right now it's rough. So we're gonna move on to boys basketball here. So unfortunately, I was not able to go to these games and help. My kids are both doing sports, and of course they had games on Saturday. So I ended up, having to obviously go into those games. But I was very curious. We played in Selma against Fowler, and we ended up beating Fowler, which is kind of a revenge game for us. The last time we played Fowler was when we were in season and we lost to Fowler, and we should not have lost to them. That was a game that we should have won, and last year we just didn't end up pulling it out, which was a little frustrating. But kind of a revenge game here, which was good. The press was working so well. We're still having a tough time, boxing out. Still a few, turnovers that we don't need, or, unforced turnovers, just trying to force something that it doesn't need to be there, So, but those are all things that can be fixed. Those are all things that, we keep working with these boys, and, they should be good with it. So, it is exciting to see these boys be very successful in these fall league games. And of course, you don't want to count your chickens and be like, oh, the fall league, we're just killing it, because of course, we still have to play the season. That doesn't mean that all these teams don't have, their full roster. So, it's hard to judge our games based on these fall league games, because you just never know who's not at full strength and who has all their guys and all that jazz, or who's playing football, or wherever it is. So, it is hard to judge these games, but at the same time, it is a confidence builder when you talk about these games. So that's why we take these games very seriously. We don't look past anyone. We know that we need to come playing and prepared every single day. So then they played the second game. This game is against Justin Garza, and Sanger West has had a history with Justin Garza. We've had some issues with a couple of the boys, obviously with Justin Garza and with ourselves, where there was a lot of talking back and forth, maybe a shove here or there, and this was a couple of years ago, and it's just been a little bit more like bad blood ever since. And so I just think that's kind of where the hostility a little bit comes from. A lot of these boys are like, man, I want to be Justin Garza, which I understand. Emotions run high. And the coaches don't have problems with each other. It's the players that I believe were in these incidences are both no longer here, so that's also a plus. So there's some positives that are coming into this. It can be a rivalry, and now it can be a clean slate rivalry, if you will. But anyway, the Hornets came in, and the press kind of started a little sloppy, but then it started picking up really well. There's a couple of mistakes here and there, of course. Always. It's basketball. It's not going to be perfect. Never is. Even in the NBA, you're never going to have a perfect line. But for the most part, these boys really played hard, really, really asserted their will. When we get our paint touches, so basically, if you're not familiar, when we're getting the ball inside the paint, sometimes we have trouble with spacing. And so our offense can kind of stall a little bit if we're not in the right positions. And that's something that we are working with the boys in. But overall, these boys really adjusted well and really started taking it to them, getting the ball in the hoop and getting right into their press without hesitation. So, these boys are starting to really, really understand what the end goal is here. I could not be more proud of those boys. I can't tell you how hard they work. There are some boys who are playing football and still coming out and also doing the basketball practice so they don't fall as far behind. And it's just so impressive to see and to have. And man, I'm very, very impressed by all these basketball boys, and it's gonna be fun. That's for sure. It's gonna be fun this year. I cannot wait until the season starts because it's getting close. And just wanted to say one more thing that is going to be really hard to say here, but Coach Karl Lopez, who was on the coaching staff for the first 2 years of Sanger West, he ended up actually is stepping down from coaching this year, which is very sad. He is a guy who I'm going to try not to get emotional, but he's a guy who's one of the first guys who welcomed me to Sanger West when I was just the PA announcer. Every day he'd come up to me. He was like, "Hey man, how's it going?" Just always saying hi to me, asking me how I was doing. And then when I ended up coming onto the coaching staff, him and I talked for a little bit and, really got to know each other a little bit more. Karl was, one of the first guys to really hey, this is kind of what I would do. And we would talk about it and I go, I like that, or I don't know. I understand why we're doing it this way or whatever. And so we would, bounce ideas off of each other. And, if we needed to vent, we vented to each other. If we were, in a good mood. We'd hang out. I can remember going to to Sacramento, and for end of the year, not end of the year tournament, but for a little summer league type tournament, and we all went up there, and we had a blast. And Karl he was in a good mood. He was feeling good, and then some things were happening, personally, and so unfortunately, it just keeps getting worse and worse, and unfortunately, he's gonna step away and deal with all that stuff. So I just wanted to shout out Karl. I work with him in the security team, so it's not like I don't get to see him now. But Karl is a great man. I mean, he played professionally in Mexico, and had some struggles as well, different struggles with some illnesses, and he fought back, and he's where he's at today, and he's one of the funniest guys that I get to talk to. He's a extremely nice person, and I just wanted to shout him out. It's sad to see him go, but I know he's going to do bigger and better things, and he's going to get a head coaching job at some point when he's able to get everything situated. He's going to become a head coach, I guarantee it, because this guy is just so knowledgeable at basketball, and should be used the right way, and I'm sure he will get his chance. I hope very soon. So I just wanted to say some niceties to Coach Lopez, to Coach Karl Lopez, who unfortunately said he was going to be set back from Sanger West basketball. So shout out to you, man. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. That is the Stingers Up podcast, and talking about Sanger West. Sanger West has a game on Friday. They are going to be playing Hoover High School. And then on Saturday, boys basketball will also end up playing 2 games in Selma. I have not received the schedule yet on who they are playing. And again, I got kids who are playing soccer, so I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to go, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how everything turns out. But I will give you guys an update as soon as those games are done, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate the support that everyone has shown me so far. All the kids who said, "Hey, I'm listening to your podcast. It's really cool," whether it be this one or Drink Code Sports Talk. Just an amazing, amazing feeling there. And I appreciate all the love and support I've received at Sanger West High School. And that's why I go hard for this school, because mainly the people, the students, the people there are all phenomenal people. Love everyone. Also, got to give a big shout out. I almost forgot. Mr. Ryan Osher is officially the principal over at Sanger West High School. I know him obviously through basketball. His son, both of his sons, play for the team, so I see him quite often. So I couldn't be happier that he has become the president, and his presence is already being felt, and I couldn't be more proud of him. He is a phenomenal man, very professional, very kind, and I am looking forward to working with him for many more years. So congratulations to you, Mr. Osher. Very proud of you, and love to see good things happen to good people. So thank you guys so much again. And that's all for me. You have a great day. And remember, everybody, Stingers out.